would like to welcome you and thank you for joining us this morning to honor the recipients of the 4th Annual Parent Leadership Awards and our parent panel discussion. So my name is Angela Ponovas, and I am the Chief of the Office of Child Abuse Prevention.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sheila Boxley, and I am honored to be the President and CEO of the Child Abuse Prevention Center, a statewide organization that is dedicated solely to preventing child abuse and neglect. A few logistical things. We do have you on mute during this presentation, but if you have comments or questions, you can use the raise hand function or use the chat box.
So we have an amazing group of award recipients this year, and we are excited to present them with this award. After the award ceremony, our parent awardees and the PPAC, the Parent Partner Advisory Committee guest, will have a discussion to share their experiences as parents and leaders in their communities. But first, I would like to allow the events planning team to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. So before we get started, we wanted to give you a chance to get to know who's going to be facilitating this. And so I'm Jen. I work at the Child Abuse Prevention Center as the collaboration program support, and I will be one of the facilitators today. Ruben, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, good morning, everybody. My name is Ruben Ursua, and I am with the Office of Child Abuse Prevention, and I will be the other facilitator for this meeting. And Barb?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Barb DeGraff. I work for the Child Abuse Prevention Center. I work for Strategies Technical Assistance, and I work with counties in the Sierra region developing child abuse prevention plans. But today I'm going to monitor your chat. So if you have anything, you have any questions, hope you'll put them in the chat box, and we want to make this as interactive as possible. And how about Faika?
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Faika Jazz. I'm also with the Office of Child Abuse Prevention. I'm a grant contract manager, so some of you may have seen me before as I work with the Innovative Partnerships Grant. And I'll hand it over to Marissa.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Marissa Provost, Evaluation Project Specialist with the Child Abuse Prevention Center. I'll be the timekeeper today, so I will be playing the wrap it up music if we go over our allotted times on our agenda. Looking forward to the discussion today.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alex Corpus, and I work at the Office of Child Abuse Prevention as well, and I will be audience support.
And hello, my name is Bryn Pascal, and I am with the Child Abuse Prevention Center's Strategies Technical Assistance team, and I will be the producer and behind the scenes tech person today. So if you have any issues at all or questions about how to ask a question, you can feel free to send me a chat and I will help you through that.
Nice.
Great. Is that the whole team? I think so.
All right, so as Barb said, we're going to make this as interactive as possible. So the next few slides, we're going to have some questions and some slides that will engage you in participating in this ceremony. So the first question we have is, who is in the audience? Are you a parent, youth, service provider? You can go ahead and click the poll that just popped up on your screen and let us know. And we'll give you all around 30 seconds. Or go ahead and select an option.
And if you are selecting other, please type in the chat who you are. We love to know. And I say that because preliminarily, it looks like a lot of the group today falls into the other category. Okay, we'll give it about 15 more seconds. All right, and I will be ending the poll now.
We have a lot of parent partners in the audience. Welcome, welcome. And I see an old friend, Samantha Flory. Hi, Samantha. We worked together in strategies many years ago. Welcome, parent partners and parents. This is great, great group.
All right, thank you all for participating, and let's go ahead and go to the next slide.
All right, so now we have a better idea of who is in the audience. We want to do a quick icebreaker with you all. So imagine you're on a desert island. What is one comfort item you would bring? It might be a book or food or a stuffed animal, anything that you can think of that would be the thing you would bring to a desert island. So use the chat to let us know, and then Barb can help read out answers for people. We'll give you a few minutes to type in your answer and then go over them.
Somebody's bringing their dogs. Good answer. My dog's in the room behind me, so she would like to hear that. Polly's bringing food. Dark chocolate. Sheila, my kind of person. I like peanut butter, so we could be together.
Yeah.
My son and food. Nice, Fika. You bring your child.
To a desert island.
Elizabeth's bringing music. She's going to be dancing on the desert island. And very, very smart and bring water, knowing that.
Practical.
Very practical. You need to have water on the desert island. Carrie's bringing a boat. Nice. I love it. Kelly, a pillow and a blanket.
Kelly's taking a
Bryn,
vacation.
yes. Yeah, that's right. Bryn's bringing sunscreen. She needs sunscreen. She's got that red hair. And
It's a very sensible group.
yes, very sensible. Oh, and a blankie, pillow and a blankie. Kelly's bringing. That's very sweet. I've always said mine would be peanut butter and Ritz crackers.
Ooh.
I would need water. I would need water. Coffee. I'm with you. A satellite phone, Ruben. Nice one. I like it.
Art.
You would be immediately rescued from your desert island. Can I bring Wi-Fi? That's right. You people just want to get off the island.
For sure.
Wi-Fi and a phone. Any others? I know a lot of people out there haven't told us what they're bringing. The boat. Alex is bringing the boat. Very good. The boat and a sail or a motor, one or the other. All right. Maybe move on to the next one.
Yeah, thank you all for participating.
Oh, somebody's bringing fruit. Thank you, Gwendolyn. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, so we have some parent leadership trivia. So question one, when did OCAP begin honoring parent leaders? So we'll give you all around 30 seconds.
I I know
go.
the answer. I know the answer to that.
I thought that was somebody's TV in the background.
Barb, is that you?
No, no. I did. It would have been a good idea though. But no, I wish it was.
And you'll have about 15 more seconds.
All right, I
Was
think we're good.
timing.
All right, so we have the majority saying 2018, 2017. So the correct answer was B, 2018.
Oh.
I think, yeah, that was right, 2018.
Well, didn't we say this is the fourth annual?
I was gonna throw a hint out there, but I was like, well, let's just keep going. Let's see what happens.
We try to make it easy, but
All right, so I guess we can go ahead and move on to the next slide.
All right, so our next question is, in what month do we celebrate parent leadership?
I want to just point out that Juan mentioned on the chat that we should have been celebrating parents sooner, and that's true, but better late than never.
All right, and we'll give it 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
All right, so it looks like April just barely won out over February, and I can see why you all would think that, but actually, parent leadership is celebrated in February.
It's actually that's the National Parent Leadership Month is February, so
Indeed.
it's a trick question.
All right, so we have another one. So question 3, parent leadership is key to blank leadership. Parent leadership is key to blank leadership. Give it another, around 30 seconds again.
I don't see the selection box.
It should be up.
It should have been up.
Yeah.
It was up briefly.
Oh, maybe you clicked it accidentally without knowing.
Yeah, because
I noted that we do release the Notice of Parent Leadership Awards. OCAP does in February, so that's in line with the official Parent Leadership Month nationally. Oh.
All right, and we will end the poll in 3, 2, and 1.
All right, so if you all answered with the letter D, You were correct. So shared leadership occurs when an organization empowers parents to provide them with opportunities to take on leadership roles in the areas of expertise to benefit their community. Also, there was actually another correct answer. If you marked C, successful, you were also right. Because projects that use parent leaders often are highly successful. Parents know their communities better than anybody, and they know what they need, and they can help build the communities that they want to see. And even with that, with my own experience, and I'm going to give a quick shout out to the Building Healthy Communities initiative that was throughout California, and in my hometown of Salinas, there was a lot of great work and a lot of empowering and empowering residents and community leaders to go on and tackle tasks and issues that really they saw a need for, and given the correct tools and proper guidance, it definitely made an effect. So I just want to sneak that in there real quick, and we can go ahead and move on.
Oh, before we go to the next question, Jared has a question in the chat. And I think it's related to the February, is February National Parent Leadership Month. And he asks, does that include the California Parent Leadership Conferences from years ago with Parents Anonymous, or was that not OCAP? Does anybody know the answer to his question?
I'm afraid those years ago are longer than me. I don't know about those conferences or if OCAP funded them in partnership with Parents Anonymous. Parents Anonymous was a grantee of OCAP's at one time, okay. And is currently actually, but I don't know that we funded those conferences.
I know those conferences happened then, but I don't know the funding stream.
Can Bryn, Jared asks if he could be unmuted. He said it was around the award question.
Yep, give me just one
Jared Vermillion.
Sure.
All right, I have permitted talking, Jared.
Thank you.
Go,
Ms. Barb, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, awesome. So I was just, it was not a big deal. Sorry to take the moment, but it was related to the award question, because the California Parent Leadership Conference that used to happen, Parents Anonymous was a part of it. The California Parent Leadership Team was a part of it. I think it was all funded through OCAP. I'm thinking Meryl Levine, Melinda Furfuro, a lot of these folks, they gave out an award at that conference every year. And then that conference stopped back in, I don't know how many years ago. So I was just thinking about that. And it may have been celebrating parents even longer, just with OCAP funding, if it was under those conferences. That's all I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, did we want to move on to the next question?
Yes.
Which I believe is the last one.
Yes, it is our last question. And it's just finish the sentence. A parent leader is someone who
People are answering quickly on this one, so we'll give it about 5 more seconds. And I am closing the poll now.
All right, it looks like everyone got this one right. The answer is all of the above. Parent leaders advocate for the whole community and help to build a community that is safe so all children can grow up safe, happy, and healthy. Thanks.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Certainly that last one could not be more true, so we appreciate that. I want to give you a little background. Yes, indeed, the Parent Leadership Awards did start in 2018, at least as I recall. And since that time, 11 parents have been awarded this honor. The real point of this process is to raise awareness about the important role that parents really play, not only in their own home, but also within their communities and assisting other families. What we know is that parenting is not the easiest job we have. As the mother of 2 adult sons, I can tell you it was the most fulfilling job I've ever had, but truly the most challenging as well. And in this last year, we know that parents across our world, but certainly in California, have faced additional challenges to parenting. We know that some parents are working remotely at home and at the same time becoming expert teachers and helping their children with distance learning. Others may be working outside the home and seeing the challenges now of trying to get childcare, particularly quality childcare. We also know that not just parents, but many of us have been impacted and continue to feel stress around the instances of racial injustice that have happened throughout our country. And lastly, we know that there have been families and parents who have lost family members due to the pandemic. So while we know all of these challenges have been present, we really want to celebrate the resilience and the way that parents have been important in their community in keeping those challenges at bay and continuing to be supportive to everyone in their community and in their family. So we want today to celebrate in particular 3 parents who are being honored, and we want to celebrate their resilience, their accomplishments, their commitment not only to their families, but to their entire communities, and their ability to adapt to the challenges during this time. And so with that, we will introduce the 3 parent leaders to you.
All right, thank you, Sheila. So let's get started with our first award winner, and her name is Elisa Cochran, and she's located in Reading. She has 4 adult children and 6 grandchildren. She has guardianship of 2 of her grandsons, ages 10 and 7, and has been raising them for the last 5 years. Elisa stated that she struggled initially to find a place as a caregiver and often wondered how she could raise grandchildren when she felt she had failed as a parent. Elisa had a feeling that she was not the only parent caregiver that was in this situation, and she knew she wanted to help other families and children. That's when Elisa attended the parent-to-parent support group hosted by the Parent Leader Advisory Group, or PLAG. She decided that she wanted to become involved with PLAG, and so she became a trained parent leader. Since joining PLAG, Elisa has participated in the PLAG monthly parent-to-parent support group as often as her schedule allows. She's attended their parent cafe and became a trained table host. Elisa also offers support on the Hotline for Hope phone line and was in the commercial which promoted this hotline with her grandsons. So we would like to just applaud and thank Elisa for all of her parent leadership work within her own family and within the community. So congratulations, Elisa.
And I'm very pleased to introduce to you Polly Huffer, located in Santa Maria. She is a parent partner with Casa Pacifica and is known for her genuine warmth and caring demeanor that puts all family members at ease instantly. Polly is very familiar with all that the community has to offer her clients and their families in terms of resources and supports and services that can be of assistance to them. She also participates in a variety of groups at the local and the state level to ensure that the voice of parents is heard and incorporated into service implementation. Polly embodies the leadership, dedication, and passion for improving family engagement and promoting the safety and well-being of parents, children, families, and her community. Congratulations, Polly. Kudos and applause.
Yes. And so finally, our last but definitely not least awardee is, and I hope I'm saying your name right, Rochelle Plagg. And she is also located in Reading. She is a single mother of 4 children, ranging in age from 8 to 16, each with their own individual struggles. After deciding to become her own advocate, Rochelle started looking for help and support. And that's when she heard about Pathways to Hope for Children and the Parent Partner Program. Pathways to Hope for Children and the Parent Partner Program. Recently, Rochelle completed training to become an official parent leader with the Parent Leader Advisory Group. She plans on furthering her involvement in the group by joining the Parent Leader Advisory Group Supervisory Committee, where she will be able to bring her skills and passion for event planning, leadership, and community outreach. Most importantly, Rochelle is excited to be able to share her story and offer support to other parents. So thank you so much to all of our Parent Leadership Award winners for being with us today. I invite again all of you to give them a virtual round of applause. And I will hand it back to Ruben or how do you say your last name, Ruben? Urzua? I don't have to say it I don't have to say it often, so I get tripped up. I'm sorry. And Jen Cole, who will facilitate our parent panel discussion. And again, I just want to thank you, my parent leaders. You guys rock. I'm so glad you were nominated and that you won this award. And so thank you again for being with us today. You are a change maker. So thank you.
Before Ruben and Jen take it over, I just want to share that Rochelle is not able to be with us today, unfortunately. And I hope that our awardees can see the beautiful thoughts in the chat. The congratulations, what awesome work you've all been doing. Congratulations, as well as all of our thoughts about the wonderful work you do. I have one adult son, so when I hear folks with multiple children, grandchildren, I am always in awe of the hard work and just what you bring to your communities. So thank you.
I just wanted to say, sorry for interrupting, but there was a hand raised and by the attendees, and I didn't see who it was and I lost it. So if anyone has anything to share, feel free to raise your hand again and I can keep track of who it was and let someone know, or feel free to put it in the chat.
Thanks, Pika. Juan said that Roger is an exceptional parent leader and fatherhood champion. We're going to meet him in a moment. I'm glad to hear from him and all the other panelists. Excited to be here. Thank you, Juan.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and keep it moving. If that person who raised their hand, just go ahead and raise it again when you get a chance, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. But to keep things moving, we're going to go ahead. You heard from the, or actually you all had a chance to meet our award recipients, but at this time I'd like to take a moment to introduce our special guest, who is from the Parent Partner Advisory Committee, or PPAC. His name is Roger De Leon, and Roger was a Parent Leadership Award recipient back in 2019. He is doing great work as a flagship parent partner with Riverside County Children's Services, supporting families. In his role as both a father and a parent partner, Roger provides individualized skill development and support to Riverside County's most vulnerable youth and families. The families in their program have been in and out of foster care, group homes, disrupted adoptions, the juvenile justice system, and have lost connection to family members over the course of time. Roger has been key in developing a fatherhood coalition in his county and serves on many fatherhood boards. Roger also has been involved in prevention and early intervention efforts as a volunteer in his community, supporting faith-based assistance for over 16 years in the juvenile probation group homes to prevent further or future involvement in youth when they become parents. As an active committee member, he holds the group accountable to ensure the father's voice is elevated and heard. So just want to introduce him and welcome him, and definitely, I definitely would like to have some conversations with you afterwards in regards to this fatherhood work that you do. So there we go. Thank you all.
Before we start the panel, there were a couple of, there was a question in the chat about how parents receive the recognition, and there was a response that each February OCAP releases a call for nominations. So make sure you subscribe to the OCAP newsletter, because that's where the announcement is. So if you're not already, and there's the link for the OCAP newsletter, perfect. And then I was just wondering, do our awardees want to say anything before we start the panel? Would they like to say a few words about the award? Maybe starting with, we have Elisa and Polly here. Elisa, you want to unmute yourself?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this honor and privilege. I wouldn't have made it without everybody in OCAP. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Polly, go ahead, Polly.
Okay, sorry, jumped in. This award is like really overwhelming. I'm so honored. You know, my work as a parent partner, it's kind of a selfish work because it's what helped me raise my son and my daughter in a healthy way, and came in a time where our life was pretty chaotic. I got help from a parent partner. So now here to be honored to do the work that I love is pretty amazing. And amidst all these wonderful people, I get to work with Roger every month with the state PPAC, and for him to be here is just extra special. Thank you.
We're honored to have you guys here. It's wonderful. All right, take it back.
All right, so with that, we're going to move on to our first topic of discussion. So if we could go to the next slide. So our first topic is going to be about the community. So panelists, we have a list of questions here, and feel free to answer any of them. This is completely discussion based. So if you have one thing that you'd like to focus on more than the other, it's completely up to you. So the questions that we have are, what do you want us to know about the community you live or work in? What makes it special or unique? How does your community reach out to special populations? And how has your community supported you and helped you to feel connected?
Well, I guess I can go ahead and get started on that. First and foremost, congratulations to every single one of the awardees. Polly, a wonderful individual, and I'm sure everyone else that has received this award is I'm honored to be with you all. I know there's been a lot of things being said about me, but let me tell you, I would not have been able to do a lot of the things that I've been able to do because of that. And so when we talk about community here, just jump right into it. Juan Salis, wonderful individual as well. He's a part of the Fatherhood Coalition right next door to us in San Bernardino County, is actually where I began to start my fatherhood initiative coalition journey. A wonderful friend. Jared is another gentleman from at PPAC from the past who was a very influential individual for me to help me to become a trainer for UC Davis. And through his experience and through his just everything he's done. And so when we talk about community, it's hard to just stay within Riverside County because there are so many individuals that I would love to just bring in and just talk about, because it is a community effort. And so one thing I can say about Riverside County is I am truly blessed because they're a county that has not been stingy with me. In other words, they've given me open doors to speak within. As a parent partner, I'm actually the very first and only male Spanish speaking parent partner for Riverside County. We will celebrate 6 years for the unit on my anniversary, which is on May the 4th. I'm excited. That's just like a week away. So I was able to walk in and help build this parent partner program from the ground up with 5 other wonderful ladies. And so it's just an honor to be able to do that, and to the service that we're able to give to our community. I have to give the props to Riverside County. They did not put a hold on us. They just gave us policy and helped us to develop who we are and able to engage. And they were so open to giving us the opportunity to sit in with social workers and the induction piece to understand everything that's happening on the child welfare side, sitting us in meetings with all types of individuals. So I really want to express, how blessed I am to be a part of Riverside County, let alone PPAC, where they were able to give me the opportunity as well to be that platform for fathers, for the Fatherhood Coalition, or just fatherhood and awareness. And so I love to brag about others because that's what it's about. It's not so much about myself. It's about other individuals like Jared and Juan Salis and Polly and just everyone that I've been so privileged to be able to be around to help me develop into who I am. And so within our community, I mean, even with my faith as an assistant minister as well as a youth minister, helping with probation, giving them community service and counseling. I can't say I know what boredom is, but that's the exciting thing that is happening here and within our community in Riverside County, but also outside in the state of California, and even now, even so across the nation with the Birth Parents National Network and Casey Families that I'm also working with as well. So the community, I just shared how it reaches out to special populations. They've developed different ways that we can come in and bring our input through our lived experience. If you're not sure what a parent partner is, I've gone through the child welfare system. I've navigated it successfully, and now years later, as I shared, been able to be the first one to walk through the door and build this thing and see it grow, and just see so many families being, just helped and encouraged, and just seeing such, success, and just, seeing families, parents turning around and just showing, that change can happen. And so I'm just proud to be a part of that. And I shared also how they've supported me from everything that I'm doing. So now I will step back and be quiet.
I'm from Santa Barbara. I live in Santa Maria, which is in the northern part of Santa Barbara County. And I started this work a very long time ago. And it's so scary to say, like mid-90s. I'm talking a long time ago, where there was a big push nationally to do changes in systems of care. And Santa Barbara County was part of a pilot program that was given money to show multi-integrated agencies, and having the parent voice was important to the grant. And for the next 5 years into 2000, Santa Barbara County had a lot of money and grant money to support that. They had parent partners co-located in every clinic, and I was privileged to be part of that first group, where I got paid as I continued to try to get my son through high school and keep my daughter healthy and my marriage intact and pay my bills, which were all very hard because I think I started at $8 an hour. And so it was pretty tricky to do that. I luckily got to go to some other nonprofits that paid me a little bit more. And in that time, Santa Barbara County's funding changes. So the parent partners have kind of gone away in the clinics. I got to go to work for a nonprofit to do wraparound, where I've been for 14 years. But now we're seeing a much bigger push for parent partners again, once again in Santa Barbara County, especially with support from CWS. Our Santa Barbara County CPAC, the Child Abuse Prevention Council, they are so wonderful. I have to give a shout out to Barbara Finch. I know some of you state people must know her. She is absolutely fabulous, and she has supported parent partners being at the table, coming to the monthly meetings, and really inviting them and making them feel welcome, and not just having them sit at the table because it looks good. She wants their voice. And I'm seeing that in all sorts of county meetings as well, where they're really taking a shift, where behavioral wellness and CWS are working together. They want to hear what parents need. And I've been invited to several meetings to ensure that that happens. I pushed to be part of a weekly meeting that reviews referrals, and they've allowed me to stay and now really welcome me. And I think, really having those key people like Barbara Finch, who runs the Child Abuse Prevention Council, you have head people at behavioral wellness, you need those leadership people who really can share with everyone the importance of having that family voice and our experience and our own personal experience, and then what we get from the wonderful parents that we work with who struggle every day to be resilient and teach their children. And no, most of us didn't go to school to be teachers. If we were, we'd go be teachers. And now we're asking parents to do everything and to stay sane, which can be tricky just being a parent.
Lisa, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, as far as being employed with these organizations, I'm not. I am a grandma guardian. I had to do the research and find out what the organizations were that I could become connected with to feel like I was giving back to the community the most that I could. And as far as reaching out to the community, there's a lot of announcements that are done on social media and by word of mouth from our parent leaders. We have our parent cafes, and we have our parent-to-parent support groups, and it's just a big safe place where we can all get together and recognize that it's okay to ask for help if we need to. And that's how the community has supported me. And that's how I feel that they reach out.
Well, thank you all so much. It was great to hear your answers and hear the range of experiences that you've had. I think it's good to know that there's no one right background to have. So thank you all. Unless there's anything else you want to add to this section, we can move on to the next topic.
Okay, so thinking about yourself. So here are some of the questions for you panelists. Once again, feel free to answer all of them or one of them that just stands out that you really, speaks to you, and we can go ahead and get this conversation going. So share any obstacles that you may have faced during the course of your work, and how were you able to overcome them? What are some of the things that you are most proud of in your role as a parent? And what part of parenting and working in your community do you find most rewarding? So go ahead and open it up.
I'll start if that's okay. So some of the things that I'm most proud of as my role as a parent, well, first of all, I get the luxury of showing families that you get to get on the other side, and that my son, who was the identified client, is doing well, and that, you know, there is hope. So that is something I really love to be able to share with people. So that's one of the most rewarding parts of my job, is to be able to share my son's experience and my daughter, who was not the identified client, but certainly was part of the whole thing, and my husband's support. But my son has been really wonderful about allowing me to share his struggles. And so about a year ago, he and I have breakfast. He's an adult young man who started out in mental health and ended up being diagnosed with high functioning autism and got lots of support for Regional Center. He now lives on his own and has a job and has a really full life. And he does not live with me. And he and I have breakfast every other Friday morning. And one Friday morning we were talking about, you know, how wonderful he's doing and all these wonderful things he's got going on. And I asked him, gosh, Marshall, you know, how did you get through that? Because high school was very difficult. High school's hard anyway, but if you talk about someone who maybe doesn't always understand social cues and doesn't necessarily have a friendship circle, he's not going to go hang out to Friday night dances, maybe with general ed kids. And it was a struggle. And he was able to graduate with a diploma. I kind of say we graduated with a diploma because I felt like I had to pull him over the finish line a little bit. And I asked him, I said, how did you get through all that and look at how well you're doing? And he said to me, Mom, well, I had to, like, if it was the only thing that would have made all that work, you know, worth it. It would have been just all a waste of time if I hadn't been successful. And I just like stopped and went, well, yeah, you know. So he looks back as like there were struggles that got him where he is today. So that he can see that is one of my most proudest moments. And that is what I love being able to share. He's given me permission to talk about him when I've done presentations or just individually. And just recently I had a conversation with a mother who said she described her son and she was struggling with having to teach him. And he also was very similar to my son. And I said, and about the same age when my son was having his most struggles. And I said, you know, you just described my son. And she kind of looked at me and I said, but you know what? He is so happy. He has a job. He lives on his own. He has his own car. He travels. He has a rich life. And she just looked at me and went, really? And so to be able to give that hope for me, it kind of makes all the obstacles that I had to get services, they don't really matter anymore, I guess. It was hard to get services because he had kind of conflicting behaviors that fit both in mental health and in Regional Center. But, you know, they kind of go away when you can go to breakfast with a young man who actually could pay for my breakfast and who could drive me home. And so that gives me hope. And to my daughter, who is so amazing, who, you know, we really need to not forget the siblings of our children that have some of the suffering and the challenges because they pay a different kind of price. And so she's really taught me to pay attention more and just to be aware of everything. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Polly. Thank you. Anyone else? Roger, Elisa?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. So I was sitting back thinking about just this question, and I've been thinking about it since I got them. You know, we talk about obstacles. Coming into the child welfare system, a system that almost destroyed my life at one time, was pretty much an obstacle within itself. Walking, I never knew. The circumstance that brought me was just, I'm not going to get into details, but what I know today, basically back then, I would have been able to be more prepared. I would have been able to navigate. I would have been able to do a lot of things differently. And I think it would have maybe even turned out differently. With that being said, obstacles that I began to see coming into the child welfare system is why we have a fatherhood coalition in Riverside County and pushing throughout the state as well as the nation. Uh, I can just picture, especially one gentleman that I came across and basically saw that everything, was being thrown at him, every obstacle that was right there. When I came in, he was just being looked at a certain way. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that have changed within Riverside County as well as the work with child welfare. But this particular case really hit me because this gentleman was doing everything he can. What he had against him was simply his past. He was in prison for some time. He had tattoos. So the way that he was looked at was just not great. It was so bad then that the individual that was working with him, the social worker, actually put down on a court report, he was a poor excuse for a human being, let alone he would never be a good father. To hear that was rough. Getting to know the gentleman, um, the greatest thing that I was able to do was sit down with him and just encourage him to pull out the strength and who he really was out of that. So, long story short, I'm not going to get into all the details. This gentleman ended up, as a single father, having his children returned to him. And to this day, he is still successful and flying high. Um, but those were some of the obstacles, ideally some, with others, but those were some of the things that I had to face personally without taking personal, because of my experience in the past. And I was able to deal with it. I actually saw the social worker that, for that I had my situation in the past, and we actually just forgave each other without words and just was able to move on and move forward. So those are some of the things that, I was able to overcome going through the child welfare system. And so I'm grateful that I was given that opportunity to be able to grow. As a parent, um, I'm happy my daughter is already an adult. She was the one that experienced, being removed, as well as her half siblings, who myself and my wife were getting ready to adopt when situation circumstances happened. We were a week away from adoption. I now have three beautiful grandchildren that I get to enjoy. She's doing well. Our family wasn't, broken up. So as a parent, I'm proud of her to be able to get through all of these things that we got through as a family. And now I get to do what I love to do, and that is help others not to have to go through what I have. I'm not in this for revenge. I'm in this to help, both my counterparts from child welfare as well as the parents to move forward in the way that we can together in growing. I understand the system is not perfect and is filled with a bunch of imperfect people like myself. And so understanding that and helping my parents that I work with to understand things that I didn't have. I didn't have a parent partner. I didn't have guidance, and now I get to do that. I like to share with everyone that I come across, including the congregation I'm a part of, is I get the dream that I never had. I never thought that I would be doing this type of work, let alone building and growing forward. And so, that those are the successes that I get to celebrate. This that I get to wake up every morning, pinch myself, and say, "Is this real?" And this has been going on 6 years. And the fatherhood piece, the advocacy, that is another thing that I never thought that I would be in the role of. And so, here I am, going in, 3 years and developing and then being an instructor for UC Davis for, as well as for San Diego State University on fatherhood engagement. All of these things, having platforms to speak, these are all, successes that I never thought that I would be able to do. Honestly, I never looked for recognition. Um, being able to receive the 2019 award from you wonderful people was something I was not expecting. Never looking for that, but it was a privilege to be able to stand on those steps right there in the Capitol and be able to receive that with my wife right there and my supervisor who flew out with me. And so these are great honors that I'm blessed to have. And so I thank you all for allowing me to share this, and all the wonderful people along the way who've just been there with me, and I don't even know they taught me so much, through exampleship. And so I'm honored to be here, and those would be my successes.
All right, thank you, Roger. Thank you for sharing. Elisa, would you like to share?
My obstacle mainly was worrying that I wasn't going to be the parent that my grandsons needed. I felt like I was such a failure with their father. But through reaching out and being accepted and getting the support that I needed, I realized that if I have that and I have the connection with the boys and the love, that we can accomplish anything together. The thing that I'm proud of is being an advocate for my boys because they need to have a voice. I love learning different parenting models, going through trainings and seminars and such, and I choose the tools from the different ones to implement and to use to give my family hope for the future. Bringing hope to other parents and awareness that it's okay to ask for help and that everyone needs it. That's what's most rewarding to me as a parent leader and a parent.
All right, well, thank you all. And I know I could echo everyone's sentiments when I thank you all for all the great jobs that you have done and the great work that you continue to do. As a parent, I definitely know how hard it is, and so I definitely, when I continue to see great parents and great leadership out here, I definitely always want to tip my hat to you all. So thank you for your responses, and I appreciate you all.
And before we go to the next slide, I just wanted to share in the chat a note from one of the participants saying, "Thank you for sharing your experience, Mr. De Leon. You are a great role model, especially for the Hispanic community, which is the majority population in Fresno County and the Central Valley, and the Fresno County Council on Child Abuse Prevention. Appreciate your leadership." So, and I was taking notes while you folks were talking, and I love, you talked about hope, you talked about forgiveness, and you talked about asking for help, and what powerful messages for everyone. Thank you. Beautiful.
All right, if there isn't anything else that you all would like to share, we can go ahead and go on to the next slide.
All right, so for our final set topic, we're going to talk a little bit about the future. So first off, if you had a superpower and could change one thing about your community, what would it be? And how can others get involved in their communities as parents?
I feel like I have a superpower. I'm a parent leader. So I would like to create a way to reach every parent in this community and give them the resources and the services to gain hope for their futures. As far as what other parents can do, they can reach out just like I did and learn about the support that's offered in this community. And I would love it if all of them joined FLAG.
Thank you for that.
So I was looking at this earlier and I thought, wow, this is, hard. If I could change one thing about a community, and Elisa, I loved what you said. And I love that you are so wonderful and you're not getting paid for it. And I started out that way. And I'm thinking your future is probably going to be in employment with this work, I hope, because it keeps you in it. So thank you. So if I had a superpower for my whole community, I think I would like have a magic spell that would say, stop judging people. You know, Roger, you talked about all those horrible labels we put on dads, deadbeat dad, refrigerator mom. That's what I was called when my son at 5 it was my fault. Could we just try to find compassion? And if we could really work on our judgment, think of all the social injustice globally we could change. I think if we could, that would be the one thing I could change and make things more supportive for all parents. And then they need support, all parents, resource parents, bio parents, extended family members. We all need support to how to raise our children and keep our community healthy. So I'd love also to see if I could like have the power of this in Santa Barbara County, because I've been trying to do it and I haven't been able to get it, was to give respite to bio parents. I have families who have their child has come back from an STRTP and the kid was sent away because of behaviors, and he's come home and he got some help, but now he's back in a community environment where he has not quite where he needs to be. The behaviors start, the family needs respite to survive and learn skills. They don't get respite, behaviors get worse, he gets removed. He goes to a resource parent, and that weekend, the resource parents got respite while they were trying to prepare. This happened to me on multiple occasions. So judgment and more care for all of us, for each other. That's what I would change.
Thank you, Polly.
Great, great. I would have to, kind of piggyback off of both Lisa and Polly. Those are wonderful answers. I think the main thing that I would look at, if I had a superpower, it could change one thing about my community or just communities in period, is that more parent partners would be developed. I think that, even though we do have a platform, we're still kind of a ways off with diverse communities, diverse counties, peer support specialists, parent partners. I think that we need more, especially male, Spanish speaking, and also diverse languages as well. When we talk about being able to help parents navigate system, and it doesn't just have to be child welfare system. I think that having that lived experience is something that is vital, especially when we're having to relate to others in the midst of their trauma in whichever way it comes. I think that would be something, like even for my community, my county, for child welfare, we only have 3 parent partners now. We're down to 3, and I'm still the only male Spanish-speaking parent partner for all of Riverside County. Riverside County is really big. And of course, we're involved with different types of coalitions, and they want us to share our voice in what we do and who we are. So I think that would be something that could develop, resources to help and just different types of things. So, and then of course, how can others get involved in their communities as parents? Simply just start looking at whatever's around, whether it's school. I know that right now there's a lot of, learning virtually, but even getting involved with that, looking at, going into wherever they feel or wherever they're a part of, in communities, because we know that we need more resources in communities. I too was a volunteer for a number of years before I became a parent partner with Children's Services. I believe that volunteers are the best type of individual, especially in this practice, because when you don't get paid and you have a passion for it, can you imagine when you do get paid, it becomes something that you're able to take care of your family with, and you get to do what you love every single day. And that's pretty much how I view it. I get to do this. The paycheck is simply just for me to be able to take care of my family. It's the extra, it's the blessing that comes with it. But that's pretty much what I would say for parents is to start looking in different community agencies, looking for different things that are happening around them in their communities, and find out how they can be involved. And so that's my answer.
Oh,
Roger,
Polly,
that
did
was so
you?
perfect. Yeah, could I say something really quick?
Of course.
I just wanted to say that, Roger, you answered that question so well. I missed that when I was doing that. And I think you just nailed it. We need more parent partners with lived experience and being exposed to different agencies, helping them know who we are, and volunteering. You covered it all. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for your answers. I love that the answers that all three of you gave, while they'll take work, they are attainable. And I think the three of you are the perfect examples of how hard work and passion can lead to success. And so thank you all for those answers. I thought they were amazing.
I have to shout out to Jared in the audience. He's great. He wrote, Elisa, we see your superpowers. Polly, you made me cry again. Hashtag bio family rest. Hashtag suspending judgment. Roger, keeping it real again. Preach, brother. Thanks. We see you, Avengers. Hashtag community mentor movement. So Jared is ready to go. Yeah.
All right, so unless anyone has anything else they want to add, we can move on to the final portion of our panel.
All right, so at this time, we're gonna go ahead and open it up to you, the audience, to ask questions to our panelists. In moving this forward, you can select you could choose to ask a question two ways. You can do it in the chat box, or you could raise your hand and you could be unmuted and ask the question. So go ahead and ask away.
I had a question I want to ask a question. Polly, you mentioned early on that wherever you're working, your community, they made you feel welcome as a parent partner. And I would love to hear from the panel about how you were made to feel welcome, because we're always struggling, the child abuse prevention councils, et cetera, to bring in parents. How do we make parents feel welcome? What can we do to make you feel welcome and be a part of the system, so to speak? And that's for all folks.
So I can go ahead and start off seeing that when I walked through the door, there wasn't even a computer on my desk. So yeah, when I walked in, I didn't realize, I thought it was the parent partner program, the unit was already pretty much developed, and it was simply an idea. But I can tell you this, that when we were brought on board, they went out of their way, the county went out of their way to take us to all types of different meetings. And at one time, we didn't know who we were sitting with. But we were sitting with deputy directors, we were sitting with regional managers, we were sitting with supervisors, and they were introducing us. And then before the meeting began, they would turn to us and they would ask us, listen, we're full of acronyms, right? That's the county speech, the county verbiage. And they said, anytime you don't understand anything, please stop us and let us know. And even if you don't understand what the meeting is and you're not sure about something, please, stop us and let us know. So for us to be walking in as strangers to the department, and they even gave us a booklet full of the acronyms too, that they said, look at this, you'll eventually get it. But for them to be open like that, welcoming, and to sit down and even ask, take the time to stop and say, so what do you think about this? And welcoming us in, not knowing and not putting themselves out there to say, well, I'm a deputy. And so kind of putting us in a place where we're in a corner, and fear starts to grip us because we don't know what's going on. They were very welcoming, from the top. I can say from the top down, from executive teams who sit in there having a conversation like this and asking us, it's okay if you don't understand, we'll explain it to you, and just being so welcoming. And of course, even using language that we were more familiar with until we were able to develop into the culture of the child welfare for Riverside County, and understanding that. That's how they began. And so always asking us and genuinely not just asking us just to ask us because we were just sitting there, not just sitting us there so that way they could say, oh, we had them part of the meeting. No, they actually opened that door for us to be able to give that part of the meeting. And when we were asked a question and we didn't truly know, they would say, it's okay, it's all right. We just wanted to see if you had anything you wanted to share. And then they went on to explain a little bit more about it. So that way, at least when we walked away from those meetings, we didn't walk away feeling like I just don't know what happened. We walked away learning something. We walked away understanding different parts of our department that we were going to be a part of. As well as opening the door for us to go into induction and treating us as a student, like they did with the rest of the new social workers that were coming in, and giving us the opportunity to learn as much as we wanted to, and even asking us, what do you feel you need to know about the department, so that way you can do your job. That right there, that approach is so comforting and welcoming that we were able to develop and just to become a part of what's going on. And so for me, that was huge. That kept me there. It was like, no, this is something where I want to be a part of, and they're welcoming me to be a part of this. And so that began my journey, and I can honestly say it hasn't stopped. Now I'm able to speak to social workers and everyone else about what it is to be a father who has navigated the system, and they're listening. So it's a swinging both ways. And then we've had numerous supervisors who were not parent partners, and they've come in and they've been open for us to teach them what the program is about, how we work, how we function, and just keeping the guidelines of the policies that we have. Every supervisor that we had, I have to say, has been delightful, because they didn't come in pushing an agenda, but actually listening to us and allowing us to teach them about our unit, because it's different from everyone else's, as well as regional managers. So that's the experience that I've had.
Well, I know for me, when I came to work for Cost Pacifica 14 years ago, I just celebrated my 14th year. I was the first parent partner in Santa Barbara County. Costa Pacifica had parent partners in Ventura and Camarillo, but I was the first one here. And I got hired probably about 6 weeks before the program. It was brand new, it was going to start. So I had the advantage of getting to go to lots of trainings and get to sit in on case supervisions for the other programs. So they kind of got to know me. I wasn't, I was a little bit foreign to some of them because I was a parent. That was a little scary. But I got the advantage of getting sent quite accidentally. And it happened because of a wonderful parent partner in Fresno County, who I think has passed away, Marilyn Maxwell. Was that her name? And maybe I've got it wrong, but she was fabulous. And she came and did a training for us in Santa Barbara County. And she was telling my director, who she knew really well, about this wonderful place called CAMACI. And it's the California Mental Health Advocacy for Children and Youth that happens in the most beautiful place in California. And she said, well, she's going to go, right? You need a parent partner there. I had worked for 2 weeks here, and this is like a coveted training. And he goes, oh, well, I guess she can go. And he got me a spot, and that changed my life. That just opened the door. I got to meet the CEO of our company. I sat at dinner with him, and he always remembered me after that. I got welcomed by the Cost Pacifica leadership as I was teaching them that it's okay here in Santa Barbara County to have a parent who's gone through services and it's safe. And it just has kind of grown from there. I think I talked about the Child Abuse Prevention Council and what she does for parent partners. She makes sure that we get the agenda, that we know what's going on. And what Roger said, she'll always say, I think we should hear from parent partners. That's an important question we need parent input on. And we're not treated as token members just so it looks good that there's a parent voice in the room. She really, and we've had additional parent partners for other organizations in Santa Barbara County, like the Good Samaritan Shelter that does recovery, and she welcomes them, and they're at the table, and it's so nice to see them. I remember being that person in the room, feeling like I'm sitting next to this supervisor who's probably going to think shouldn't be here. but that group does not do that. And they're all very like high level people who come, you know, of their organization. So just making people feel equal and fair and heard.
There's also a question in the chat, which is similar, I think, to what I was asking. If you want to comment on, from Gwendolyn, saying, what was one thing that connected you to the organization you are with, and why did you stay? So I don't know if you want to add anything from that question.
So I'll go ahead and add. I think that what kind of got me started on it was when I walked in. I'm the type of individual that kind of lays myself out there and who I am, and that like my faith is really huge. Not that I would shove it on anybody, but that's just who I am. And when I interviewed and I shared that, that was a lot of my experience where I got the ability to be a volunteer, to be able to work with families, work with, youth and all that. They welcomed me with open arms, and basically that was part of the reason they hired me, was because of the passion they said that I had doing what I was doing for free. And so I think that when I was able to share that openly, and I was kind of like, okay, this is a county. I'm not sure if they're going to reject this, right? So, but no, they were very open to it, and they, of course, they they gave me the policy, but just to be able to be included, to allow me to be who I am, was one of the biggest things for me. And then from there, even helping to build, I thought about a lot of the things that I would have liked to have had, and it was received. And it was received to be able to have a hand to build this from the ground up, and still having it run like it is. They told us we wouldn't be running for like 5 years, and we had it running in 2.5 years. So we did what we had to do, and we're still seeing the benefits from families, and so is the county. So we're just hoping to get more. Hopefully my superpowers will touch them, and we can get some more parent partners to help with Riverside County. So
Somebody here, Gwendolyn would like a carbon copy of you, Roger, in their county. So if you can have a superpower to clone yourself, please do.
well, I'm sure there are individuals. I know, like I said, there's a couple of gentlemen here on the call who are just wonderful. I think that I'm just a normal individual who just has a passion, and I believe that there are others gentlemen who have, greater experience and have, higher. It's just finding them. That's all.
Okay, anybody else?
Well, I just add that why I stayed at Costa Pacifica for these long years, which have been, wraparound is hard. It's a hard, all our work is hard, but there's an on-call schedule that can be really hard on the weekends. But what's kept me going is those wonderful success stories, and just the opportunities to share my story that helps people. I've also been given a lot of opportunity to present and train, and received great training. I've gotten to go to the Partnership for Wellbeing and train. I've gotten to have so many opportunities, and now I get to supervise, unfortunately only 2, and we're going to supposedly be getting 2 more parent partners, and that's been one of the best joys of why I've gotten to stay, because I get to help new parent partners know their value and help them understand how they can help other people see their value. So I think, those success stories help us realize we're supposed to be doing what we're doing.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Any other questions? Anybody else want to ask our panel members at this time?
We also have a note. Thank you, Polly. You are amazing. Success stories are imperative to revitalizing our desire to help. And Maya, thank you to the panel.
All right, well, then I think we can go ahead and move to the next slide, I believe.
So we just want to thank you all for attending, and thank you so much to our panelists for making the time to be here and talk about your lived experiences. It's so important for people, whether they're parents themselves or serving the community, to hear about these experiences. And so we really appreciate the time that you took and the thought that you put into your answers. And thank you so much to our audience for sticking with us. I hope that you found this valuable and that you had a good time. So hopefully next year during our 5th annual Parent Leadership Awards, you'll join us again. Yeah, thank you so much. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to add?
Let's hope we're in person next year.
Yes.
Or at least a combo of in person and, and remote.
Yeah, and I think I'll go ahead and echo all those sentiments again and just thank you all for being the examples that you are in your communities and being here to accept these awards. And, sometimes I think while the work that we do, we kind of lose track of a lot of these important things and acknowledging people. And I think that's one of the biggest things that anybody, whether it's us as individuals or organizations, but taking the time to acknowledge people and the great things that they do, whether we feel like they're great things or not, they're beautiful examples to our communities and to the children, parents and parents to be. So once again, thank you all for being here and accepting these awards, and continue the great work that you do and being those examples that we need out there in this community. Thank you.